Gen Z, what's up? We got a great show for y'all today. Let's go. Cast, man, it is a show. You got your host, man. My name is Sadiq. And I'm really excited to be here with y'all today. Last week, I feel like I dropped 20. I might have to drop 30 on this time because we have great topics for today. We're going to be talking a little bit about some environmental stuff that's going on when it comes to AI. A little bit, on the political realm, talking about Trump firing the chief for the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is very important. And then going a little bit into college and just talking about kind of like new students entering the space or what students should be doing with this job market. But it's going to be interesting because, I got a lot of serious takes on this stuff. I've been practicing, so I'm very interested. And I'm ready to get into these topics and stuff like that. Again, sponsored by Perspective the Network. If you haven't checked us out, go check us out. Follow us on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. That's where we, reside. So it's not a podcast, man. Again, it is a show where we bring the best and the most current and pertinent topics to Gen Z. So I first want to start off with this water crisis and purification problems. So what's been going viral on TikTok, but also it's just been a big conversation, especially within the business realm, but now it's entering a little bit more pop culture realm. It is about the data centers and basically how much energy and water and natural resources they take and need in order to get up these chat models or to drive AI. And this has been a big conversation. Why? Well, I would say last year in the summertime for business, because obviously people want to be ahead of what are the best stocks. I was pitching a bunch of renewable energy stocks back in the summer last year because we knew that a lot of these huge companies like Google, Tesla, well, not Tesla, but Google, Grok, and then OpenAI, all these different huge AI companies are going to need to attach themselves to some type of data centers. Why? Because they need so much power that at a point it just makes sense to attach themselves to a data center. And those might look like nuclear power plants. Those might look like just other ways that they could be able to create some type of energy and a mass amounts of energy to be able to power this stuff. You got to think about it like this. Like they're creating supercomputers, computers as big as warehouses, with centers and centers of data to be able to not only take all the data that they might be importing or have and storing, but also being able to feed these supercomputers. So that's how you should envision it. But it takes super amounts of water and copious amounts of energy. And that is what we're going to be talking about a little bit for today. Now, what's been going viral is the stuff that's going on with Memphis and Grok. So Grok moved one of their data centers over to Memphis. Memphis is known for having pretty bad environmental kind of factors and effects to the people. And of course, that town is predominantly black. And this is where the conversations of environmental racism comes up, right? So a couple of takes. I want to play the video so you can get a little bit of context into what I'm talking about. And we're going to talk about this in a full-fledged AI type of conversation, because I think it's especially important for Gen Z to have some good outlooks on this. But in actuality, we're going to be the ones that's living with it. It's that simple. And a lot of people might be boycotting. We got stuff to talk about a little bit later on the broader conversations part. But let me just play the video. I saved it. Here we go.
You can't hardly breathe. It's just like your whole world is collapsing down on you. And it's frightening.
Eastern Ox lives just over a mile from XAI.
I really wasn't getting the fresh air. I was getting that pollution that was mixed in with
XAI
everything.
is Elon's
You know how you
Grok.
light your stove and that gas seeps with the little ticking noise? That's what it smelled like.
Alexis Humphreys grew up here, one street away from Eastern.
When I smelled it the first time, I was asleep. And it woke me up because I thought gas was seeping in the house, but come to find out, we come outside and all the neighbors was outside trying to figure out what's going on.
The area around XAI leads the state in emergency department visits for asthma. Memphis has one of the highest rates of toxic air releases of any American city, and many of its most polluting facilities are in this neighborhood.
He was an ordinary dad, full of joy, full of jokes.
Last year, Alexis lost her grandfather, who struggled with a respiratory illness called chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD.
COPD is a breathing condition, but you don't get it unless you smoke cigarettes.
And they say it's a breathing condition that's typically derived from cigarette smokers. But that father never smoked cigarettes. Insane. I got a little bit, one little last part.
Elon, what he did with Memphis is objectively somewhat dirty, but he's also doing it in an area where there's like a bigger natural gas plant right next door, and like a wastewater treatment and a garbage dump nearby, right? And he's obviously made the world a lot more clean than that one data center.
In just 1 year, XAI has blown past existing polluters.
They're emitting somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 tons of NOx. I'm an air pollution guy, so I deal in those numbers all the time, and that's larger than anything else in Memphis.
Okay. Good points. So, practically, they're flooding Memphis right now with terrible toxins that's going out into the air, and they're not being clean about it at all. I mean, under this administration, you can expect that, but this is more than what anybody else would think. And especially when it comes to this AI stuff, I mean, it's a race to the finish. And one, there's different factors. One being environmental racism, and this being a 90%. Is that the town is 90% black, and knowing that a lot of this, like I had asthma when I was a kid, don't know the cause of it. Some other autoimmune diseases that specifically target and hit black communities or brown communities is you would think it derives from this type of environmental factors. Scary. Now, bringing in AI and talking about Grok, OpenAI, and Gemini and all these different data centers and why this would cost this amount of much, or why this would be this cost to the world. The way I look at it is what is being interconnected. So at the biggest top level, why wouldn't a government want to figure out how to stop the type of pollution that Grok is doing? Well, the government just signed a contract, a federal contract for $200 million with Grok AI. $200 million. I need you to follow the money. Think about it like this. If China, Russia, Brazil are all trying to figure out, and it's the race to AI. If AI is supposed to be this new invention, and it is, we're going to talk about this, and it's this new invention in which it is going to disrupt not only the labor market, not only the world, but as we see the world as we see it today, it is going to be the biggest disruptor. Governments are going to look at it like, okay, we need to make sure that our military are boosted up. Not only do we want to be the best when it comes to innovation and companies and stuff like that, but we want to be the best military power. So governments are going to be like, they're going to pull all their companies together and say, give me the best of what you got. I don't care what it takes. I need the fastest model and the best model, and I need it now. So what are companies going to go do? Companies are going to go, they're going to figure out how to train their models. They're going to do it the most fast and efficient way possible, and they're going to forget people like this that live in Memphis. Now, you're going to expect your politicians to be like, yo, can you stand up for the people of Memphis and have this so it's not affecting them in this way? And what are your government going to say? Oh, yeah, we're going to figure that out. And then the big, beautiful bill passes and takes away all this renewable energy tax credits and stuff like that, or these incentives to get these companies to actually do this in a clean and green way. The reason why I do stocks. When I pitched CEG, Consular Energy Group. I thought CEG was going to boom. It is booming. But I thought CEG was going to boom. Why? Because it was green, renewable energy, solar, wind, and nuclear specifically. And nuclear is clean, so don't just come off the idea. It could be clean. Let me say that. It could be clean, so don't just come off the idea that's not green. And nuclear energy, that Consular Energy Group provides. I go, okay, you're going to want companies to pair up with these type of companies because they are green and new energy, and they don't want to deal with all the hassle that if you're not doing it the green way, then you're going to be getting a lot of government kind of like oversight over your company. And you don't want that. But what happens with the big, beautiful bill? I mean, it showcases that the administration does not care about green energy. big red flag, which is why you see something like XAI and Grok able to build a data center like that and not get barely any flack. And actually, it's actually incentivized because they got a $200 million contract. Hear me when I say that. Follow the money. So again, black and brown communities affected, bottom level. Government has incentives to get to the best and the greatest model that they can to be able to what? Fund their governments, make their governments more efficient, make their weaponry more efficient, make everything in general more efficient. But all I hear when I hear more efficient, and you should too, is less labor, less labor, less labor. Hear me. We only like 10 minutes in. But hear me, man. And this is why we do perspective, man. Fresh and witty perspectives. I want to bridge this out into a broader conversation about AI, right? I'm gonna look up a simple statistic. I'm gonna say how much money have corporations dumped into AI investment. All right, it's generating. This is on Google, so obviously Gemini. About $252.3 billion, which is a 26% growth in 2024. So in 2024, global corporate investment in AI reached $252 billion. And most companies, especially Google, Apple, all these other companies are donating much more. Not donating, but investing much more into capital expenditures, which is taking their money and making sure that we're going to divvy this out to make sure that we are top and on in our head when it comes to the AI race. What does that mean for the regular person, right? Or what does that mean for you as a personal person using ChatGPT or using these other queries? Some companies are going to be going for consumers, right? Like ChatGPT. ChatGPT wants the consumer. I think that's their main. I'm going to say that's their main goal because they're going to want government contracts. They're going to want business contracts and stuff like that. I would say Microsoft with their Copilot is a lot more on the business side, trying to get those type of consumers, right? But the personal consumer, I would say a lot more people use ChatGPT or Claude, in my opinion. I can't get hard facts about this because most of these companies are private. Most of these AI companies, when it comes to this stuff, is private. Yes, they're going to put out how much money they spent, but how much queries is being used by business owners versus regular people is not really that clear. And why do I make that distinction? Is because I have people that are talking to me when I go, yo, make sure y'all are using ChatGPT to go figure X out. I got people coming to me and talking to me that they're boycotting AI. Man, y'all gonna piss me off. You are going to piss me off. And it's not because it's not because of, I understand the moral aspect of it. You don't want to support a system that is going to take out 40% of the labor market. 40% is a rough number. I'm joking, right? But I'm not really joking. 40% of the labor market. You don't want to take that out. I understand. And you don't want to support a system or a company that does so. I understand, my little buddy. But the problem that comes with this is that you think your 5 to 10 queries a day is a marginal impact that you're going to be doing on this company, and it's not. If every personal person, I would say if 30% of the consumers for ChatGPT were to stop right now, I don't think ChatGPT or OpenAI, the company that owns ChatGPT, is going to stop. Now let's talk about Grok. I don't know nobody. I actually know one person. I know one person that uses XAI and Grok as their own chat model. And the reason I'm saying that is because Grok, who just got a $200 million government deal, do you think that you boycotting Grok is going to be able to take away that type of money? Do you think that you're that consumer? When it comes to Target, and we boycotting Target, and shout out to that boycott that was actually working. We're boycotting Target. That's because a lot of us was shopping at Target. This type of investment that's happening into these companies, you think that do you think that it's because you're the consumer, and by you stopping as a consumer, you're making a stand? This is not the stand that you want to take. This is not the stand that you want to take. And I'm going to get to the solution soon, but I really want to drive home this point. Companies have implemented AI so much so that the first person that you talk to, if you're trying to go get support, let's say Squarespace, or you want to go on Wix, or you want to go on any website and you go do something, that level of support, if you're having a problem, is going to be AI. Notion is going to be AI. Every other company that you see, go look up some websites. Macy's is probably AI, a chatbot that you're talking to. So not only have they removed the option for you to actually go talk to a person first, but they have implemented it so much so that it's unavoidable. Before it gets down to you as a personal use case, what would you be using it? You might be using it to, refine some ideas, right? Refine some business ideas. Maybe college students are using it for essays. Maybe you see what I'm saying? I'm not even talking about those type of use cases. I would much rather it be in a better and a more efficient way. But the amount of queries that a company like Macy's or Toyota that are getting from their chatbots are significantly, like, let's say they get 8,000 visitors on their website, and 5% of that gets translated. That's thousands of more queries a day than you as a personal use case. And I understand people want to boycott and they don't want to add to a system, but I think the disruption that's going to happen to this world because of AI is much more deeper than you think. And you thinking that boycotting is going to work, it is not. You're going to get phased out first. And mind you, it'll be the youngest people talking about this type of boycott. It'd be the youngest people talking about this type of boycott, which means the freshest minds that are able to connect and crack this technology and use it for actual good, as opposed to what other corporations may be doing it, which is for efficiency, which is less labor, and less labor, which you could be doing to 5 times your output and 5 times your thinking to think of a better solution. You are taking that away, but yet they're still using it. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. Like, the amount of queries, if you took away the personal use cases, and I wish we had hard numbers, if you were to take out the personal queries that people do on a day-to-day, I still don't think it comes out to I don't even think it comes out close to the amount of queries that corporations and businesses use on the daily to be able to train their models. not even them using it to understand it. I mean, to understand other things. They're using it to train their models. Solutions. I'm not here just to tell y'all and to say stop boycotting, because I don't want y'all to feel as if I'm not on the side of, I think AI is a huge disruption to our labor force, and I honestly think that they're looking to rid at least 30% of the workforce, and they're moving at such a fast speed that you could tell that this writing is on the wall. Look how much money that they're dumping in year to year. Look at how the stock market is riding off of all these AI stocks. I own all these Mag 7 stocks, some of them, and all of them are, the market is off of NVIDIA's back. NVIDIA's the chips that make those chips that power those supercomputers. Think about it. You gotta think about it. I understand you as a person that has higher morality don't want to deal with AI. But I'm telling you, you are the perfect person to deal with AI. You are that perfect person. Because trust me, there's people on the other side that are 10 timesing, 20 timesing their output and using it. And I'm not just talking about people. I'm talking about also robots. I'm talking about corporations that are using robots to do the same stuff that we're talking about, but they're actually using it to rid you and rid your efficiency. I mean, rid your labor. To put it the simplest, because I know I might be just in jargon land right now. To put it the simplest, these companies are investing $250 billion year over year into this AI stuff. They're doing it to make their business more efficient. The biggest costs in business, one of the biggest costs in business is labor. So when they talk about making it more efficient, when they're dumping hundreds, 50s, 20 billion, 5 million, small companies, when they're dumping that much money into AI, let it tell you something. Okay? A personal boycott is not going to do anything if you're not their consumer. You're not their consumer. The government is. And or even if you are their consumer and you're not used, and when I say you're not their consumer, I'm talking about OpenAI, I'm talking about Grok, I'm talking about Claude. Yeah, they might market to you, but their big consumers is not that. They're businesses. They're businesses that want to make everything more efficient. So when Toyota has a little chatbot on their website, and it's easier for you to be able to communicate when they're buying a car, so they don't need to pay that salesperson. So you thinking a boycott is going to work, but you're not the consumer. You're not. So you're working against the grain. Solutions. I was watching Flagrant's podcast, and they had Bernie on, and Bernie was like, when he's talking about stuff, he's like, young people need to find creative ways, smart, intelligent side steps to be able to combat whatever political turmoil we might be in, whatever technological turmoil we might be in, whatever, if you feel as if there's corporates and you need to, if you feel as if we are going against corporations, and I feel like a lot of corporations are selling us out, if you feel that way, then you need to come up with creative ways to combat it. And I would say you, as using your personal 5 to 10 queries a day, is not putting that impact in, but you may actually be able to come up with a significant solution to these problems with it. Don't let me be, I'm not trying to be an ad for AI. I'm being an ad for y'all better use the tools at your resources while you can, because I don't think that we have so many years left to be able to do so. Keep that in mind. Whatever model that we have, the corporations have 3 times that. When I was working at my bank, the head speaker that came over was talking about how Sam Altman and OpenAI was already there 3 months before they even launched ChatGPT. Shopping it around. We are the last people to touch those models. We are the last people to touch those models. So think about it like that. They use 5 times what we use. And whatever resources you have at your disposal is not going to be the same type of resources in 5 years. It's not. And on top of that, you're not going to have the same type of capital, nor are we going to have the same type of head start. We have a head start right now. Why? Because the job market is only shitty right now. It's only shitty. We're going to talk about that too. But it's only shitty right now. But when 30%, 25%, 15% gets removed, that's when it gets very scary. That's when it gets very scary. And that's what I don't want. So when Bernie talks about creative solutions, think about it like this, right? Y'all saw that guy that put plastics and made gasoline out of the plastic? Shout out that guy. I don't know his name. But I've been seeing him go viral. I want y'all to think like that. I want Gen Z to think like that. Did he use AI? Maybe not. But those type of solutions is what we need. And if it took him 30, 20, 10 years to figure that out, I'd rather you figure that out in a year and a half using AI. I'd rather that. Instead of trying to boycott something that's going to happen with or without you in 2 to 10 years. They invested $252 billion in last year. They're going to up it this year. The writing is on the wall. It's here. It's here. Look at the market. And that's what I'm talking about, y'all. I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm really not trying to fearmonger at all. Because to be honest, there is no fear in my heart. There is no fear in my heart. Because I'm preparing. Not only for myself. I'm not selfish. Not only for myself, but I'm trying to come up with complex solutions to be able to fight this type of stuff. If you think your politicians are going to save you, they're not. They've been showed you. This This type of stuff, Elon, I'm not going to say he bought the election, but he's dumped so much money that people could say he bought the election. This type of stuff we're talking about right now is huge powers coming down. Huge powers coming down. And you think this little boycott, measly little boycott is going to help you. Yo. Okay. As I said, complex solutions. And that plastic to gasoline stuff is real life. That man, that is a solution. That's a real solution. And you could fast track whatever. Last little comments on this. A kid came up to me. She's in high school, right? She's asking me about what she should do entering college, right? She's trying to figure out how she can get into her colleges, what the college essay might look like, all of this stuff, da-da-da-da-da. That's what she's asking me. I go, first of all the questions you just asked me, put it into ChatGPT. And I'm going to I gave her some answers, obviously, but I said put it all into ChatGPT and work through your resume, work through your college essay, and work through it. She wants to say to me, I'm boycotting that. I don't want to use ChatGPT. I don't agree with it. She's like 16, right? Let me tell y'all something. You gonna shoot yourself in the foot before you even get started. Please don't do that. Please, I'm begging y'all. Please don't do that. Please. Because I would much rather you provide a solution 3 times in your output than in 10 years when it really happens and that disruption really hits and now there's barely any power that we have to do something. It's too late. It's too late. And I don't want to get to that point. Sorry, y'all. Sorry if that was rantish. I get passionate. That's my passion talking. Okay. Let's back it up a little bit. What we gonna do? What we gonna talk about? So, Trump firing the chief Bureau of Labor Statistics, commissioner, right? This was nuts. So, I really want to talk about this because I want to talk about the job market as well, right? Job market, from what I know, has been terrible. People have been saying, or economists and political commentators have been saying, oh, but the job market is at record, the unemployment levels are at record lows. Man, that should be pissing me off. I'm sorry. I can sense some stuff. Granted, though, I'm young, but I can sense some stuff. And when most college students around me are not getting jobs for the last 2 years, this data is going to catch up sometime. Hear me? The data is going to catch up. And it finally caught up. So, last month, I wanted to read something, but I think I have it off the top. Last month, they added 73,000 non-farm payrolls. Non-farm payrolls are the main indicator that economists use, and the Fed uses. The Fed is the Federal Reserve, uses to indicate what's going on with our labor market. Why? Because non-farm payrolls are, it's hard to track that because, one, undocumented immigrants, families, they be employing themselves. It's just hard to be able to track that, so they use non-farm payrolls. A little bit of econ knowledge for y'all. So, 73,000 were added last month. The typical, or the best indicator is over 100,000. In addition to that, the 3-month average is around 35,000 non-farm payrolls added. In addition to that, they had revised the non-farm payrolls for the last 2 months, and I think those combined, and it lowered by 230,000 around jobs. I say this all to say is that the Fed has 2 different mandates. Gen Z, listen up. Do not let me lose you. If the words is getting too crazy, just look them up in ChatGPT. Or look them up on Google. But the Fed has a mandate. The mandate is a dual mandate. It is, one, trying to keep inflation around 2%, and 2, keeping maximum employment. So right now with this employment stuff that's going on, all the conversations about 73,000 being added last month, the conversation now is about okay, our job market is really weakening quickly. Problem is that you would the idea or the fix to do this would be a rate cut. We have high interest rates at the moment, so the economy is not moving so much. And when the economy moves too much, that's when inflation starts to happen. Why? Because people are borrowing corporations money. People are borrowing mad money, and that supply and demand starts to mess up once that you fall down the money. So that's why it's inflationary when you do rate cuts. But the problem is that the non-farm payrolls, our job market is showcasing that it's not that strong. It's not strong at all. What we've been telling y'all for years. Let me tell you, I was going against MBA candidates, MPA candidates, master's candidates as a bachelor's, and those are that's in the application pool when I'm doing entry level positions. It's crazy. It's crazy out here. But that's the problem that we're facing right now with the job market. Okay. So you see that the Fed has some problems right now because if they were to do a rate cut, which would help that job market stuff, at the same time, it might be inflationary. And with all the stuff that's being passed in Congress, the big, beautiful bill, which a lot of that stuff is inflationary, you see what we're teetering on. And it could be a recession. It could be a recession indicator for that non-farm payrolls. But, our, POTUS, chief, he fired the chief of the Bureau for Labor Statistics. He fired her, and he said that she was corrupt and was manipulating the numbers to make Republicans and him look bad. Man, we already know the personality of our president. But the last two chiefs of Bureau of Labor Statistics, one appointed by Trump, actually denounced him going and firing her. Because why? Because it'd be crazy to think that the chief of Bureau of Labor Statistics is fabricating these numbers when we've all been seeing it. College students could have been telling you this for the last 2 years that the market is not doing that well. We've been telling y'all this. And this is the case. Which is why it's getting very scary, is because not only is we're just in a bad time for the market and job market, but we have our president saying that these numbers are fabricated and they're not true. Man, like this is much. It's covering their tracks in every different way when it comes to attacking the press. Now it's coming to attacking politicians. I wouldn't even say this is a politician. This is an economist, right? Like he's attacking everything. And at this moment right now, it's just not. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and I'm scared. He was attacking the Fed too. Jerome Powell, who's at the top for the Fed, he's been warning a rate cut. But most of the stuff that's been happening is inflationary. And what happens when people don't want all these prices to keep rising. It's gonna make it way worse, which is why it's just the Fed's job is just very difficult, is because they have to play between that dual mandate, but by cutting the rates to make the job market a little bit better, you're raising prices. If you want that explanation, I would say go ask whatever chatbot and get the information and apply it, right? The reason why I talk about politics, the reason why I talk about this media stuff is because I'm digesting the stuff that I see around me. I see on TikTok people talking about the water crisis and the purification problems and environmental problems, right? Well, I understand the business side of that, right? I understand that, Grok, Grok don't care about none of that TikTok stuff. Why? Because y'all are still using Twitter. It's getting paid regardless. It's finding its way regardless. And it's getting paid from the government. So why would it care that you're trying to go and boycott them? I want y'all to be a little bit more perceptive when it comes to the world. Look a little bit deeper, not just off of the headlines and not just out of outrage. Because if we're looking a little bit deeper, peeling those layers back, the outrage doesn't come first. Okay, I see why they're doing this. Maybe we have to act in a different way to be able to sidestep it. Do you hear what I'm saying? Listen to Hello? Man, okay. So, let's start talking about some solutions and stuff like that. I want to talk about college students. It's August 7th, which meaning that a lot of colleges are about to begin. School's about to start again. So students specifically. Let me say this off rip. If you are not going to med school, if you're not going to law school, if you're not going to one of those pipelines like from being a finance major or whatever into investment banking, those type of pipelines, you are an entrepreneur. Listen to me clear. I'm going to say it one more time. If you are not med school, law school, and becoming an investment banker, the pipeline programs, you are an entrepreneur. And you need to treat your college career like that. Okay? It is getting dire at this point. Job market added 73,000 jobs last month. And it was supposed to be, the typical is over 100,000. It's constricting and constricting and constricting. So you need connections. You need a network of people to talk to. You need to build some type of power. Some type of, this is why I am a professional. Whether you're media, whether you're architecture, I don't know, whether you're anything, any major outside of that stuff is an entrepreneur, and you need to carry yourself with that brand, treat it close to you, feel it. I feel like the only reason that I've been successful is because I've been feeling that way since I entered college. I did not take no for an answer. I tried to figure out my different ways, and I went through different pipeline programs too. Didn't like it that much, but I had to navigate it like an entrepreneur because my major was media communications. I mean, that's broad. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, that's broad. And all of my classes were all philosophy. So they didn't teach me nothing like that was technical. I went out and learned how to use my camera. I bought my camera right before I went to Ghana because I wanted to film some stuff. I needed to go learn and build up those skills. So whatever your path is, whether it's criminology, whether it's anything, sociology, treat your college career as an entrepreneur. You hear me? Okay. Man, this is low-key a quick episode. I could talk about the, BET canceling the Hip Hop Awards and the Soul Train Awards, but I feel like this was a lot more of a political episode. There's not much takes that I have on that either because, it makes sense. Television's dying, and they were losing mad money, and they put mad work into the last BET Awards. So I would think those two subsects are going to get cut. It makes sense. Award shows are dying anyway. So unless they're dumping so much money, those advertisers are not paying like that. That's just simple. If y'all want topics for me to break down, man, drop it in the comments and or find a way to hit me to get those to get those topics through to me. Because honestly, I have a wide range of things that I could talk about when it comes to media, politics, business. I have a wide range of background, and I like to listen and watch everything. That makes me perceptive. Why? Because I want to build perspective. Hear me clearly. And that's what we aiming to do with this. That is what we're aiming to do with this. I don't want to just give y'all takes. I don't want to just give y'all facts. I'm going to give you facts and takes. Fresh, witty perspectives. Because if not, then you're not going to find a way to be able to formulate your own. I'm a media major. I was trained to look at stuff and break it down, digest it. But I want everybody to be able to do the same thing. You're looking at your news or you're looking at TikTok, and a lot of TikTok information is low-key very informational, very educational. It's dope. But I need you to peel those layers back. It's not just about outrage at this point. Outrage is the new form of currency for a lot of these corporations. So you thinking that you boycotting, like American Eagle and the Sydney Sweeney stuff, you think that you're boycotting or you're doing something, but that base is already electrified. Their stock price is up. So the outrage is the new currency. So you're just playing into their game. I'm not asking you to play into their game. I'm not here to fearmonger. I'm here to give real information in my take. I want y'all to make takes. Build fresh and witty perspectives. It's not a podcast. It is a show. Hear me, man. All right. All right. I'm gonna take y'all out. Quick episode, but I'm gonna start up some interviews and stuff like that. I just need to get some stuff together, man. I just actually got one of my first clients too, yesterday. Which is like for real. Cause I had clients and stuff like that for Spirit. Spirit is my marketing agency. I had clients, but those were like one-offs. You know, I got paid here and there to go do something. But this one was it's a retainer. And it was fire. If you want to go follow my Instagram, go follow it, Sadiq.ranks on Instagram, and you will see a lot of the stuff that I be doing. All right. Let me take y'all out. What's been on my... What else? A little something calm. Here we go.